All right, welcome everybody to Yin and meditation. We're going to start on our back this morning in constructive rest pose as we start to awaken the hip flexors and the lower back. So bending those knees, feet to the earth. And as you settle onto your mat, close your eyes down. And then begin that process of moving inward and tune into your breath. Maybe it's helpful to bring a hand onto your belly, maybe the other hand onto your chest or over your heart. And as you offer up a deep breath in, feel into the space you're creating. Noticing the movement of your chest, ribs, and abdomen. And then as you exhale, imagine flushing away tension, stress, tightness, or whatever might feel stuck or limited at the level of mind, body, emotions, energy. And then just imagining each breath, you're drawing your senses inward, releasing any distractions from your environment, any to-do lists for the day. And just feel yourself arriving as you say to yourself, I'm right here, right now. And in this moment, all is well. And just surrendering into that truth. You have a body, you have a breath, it's another day. All is well. And then if it is there for you to connect with, just let that smile gently spread across your face, activating the muscles of the face. And by smiling, sending a message to the brain that yes, in fact, everything is well and right in this moment, just as it is. And then offering that same grace to your own physical body as we move through the practice, nice and slowly, mindfully in our yin fashion this morning. And see if you can just open your mind and heart to accept whatever comes, whatever shows up in the form of tightness, intensity, sensation. And can you come from a place of compassion and understanding rather than force as you relate to your own beautiful physical body this morning? And perhaps there's certain parts that are needing a little extra attention. So take a moment to really connect mind and body, sensation and awareness. And whatever tightness or sensations you're aware of in this position, just hold that space in your mind for a moment, perhaps visualizing that part of your body. And then imagine sending the breath directly into those spaces or that space. And you might even use the mantra this morning, let go. It's always a good one when working with yin, but also the super moon, full moon energy that we are still under the influence of. A nice time to close chapters, to reconcile, to release. And then once you've met your body as it is, where it is, the starting point of our practice, and give your mind something productive to come back to as we move from now till the end of practice into the meditation. So it might be one powerful word that you like to embody or carry into the mindfulness of your day. Or perhaps there's a fuller intention that you are working to realize or actualize. And then apply that same process with each breath. Imagine delivering the power of that truth, that intention, into every part of your body. As you hold an image or visualization for a moment of expanding that intention into your daily life, what does it look like? What does it feel like? So if you have one word, perhaps, say peace. And fully make peace come alive in your mind. What does that mean to you? What does it look like? And how do you know if you've attained that intention and embodied it or not? And then tuning in now to your own heart space as you tap in emotionally, energetically, just noticing where you're starting from this Saturday morning. And if there's anything the heart needs to hear to feel better, offer that now. Like a wise, loving, encouraging friend, your own heart. And then we bring these parts of ourselves together in a state of union, state of yoga, as we mindfully start to move in just a moment. Just going to do a few things, warming up the hips, lower back here on our back before we move into our first yin pose. So eyes can be opened or closed for this warm up. Let's come back to the breath. And if those knees are still bent, let's stretch the legs out long and have those arms by your side. And then on that next inhalation, point your toes, reach your arms up overhead as you spread those fingers, stretch nice and long. Exhale, flex your feet towards your shins as those arms float back down by your sides. Let's just take it easy here. One more. Inhale, reach and lengthen. And exhale. Breath guiding the movement. Next one we're going to add on. Inhale, reach those arms overhead. As you exhale, hug right knee into the chest. Feel that low back releasing, belly expanding, and slowly start to rock your right thigh side to side, getting a little deeper into whatever might be stuck or calling for your attention to that right side. And then bring the right knee back to center. Place your right hand on the kneecap. Let's stretch the left arm out from the shoulder. And then make a big circle by steering that right thigh around with the power of your right hand. And move as slowly as you can. Remember, yin is an invitation to slow down. And it's a wonderful balance for all the yang, the busyness, the multitasking we get caught up in day to day. Take that circling around the opposite direction. And then as we slow down, we might become aware of things we would miss if we were otherwise in a hurry or distracted. And then as you bring that right knee back through to its starting position, let's pause, hug it in. Deep breath here. Exhale with a soft sigh. And then let's release. Inhale, reach and lengthen. Exhale, bring your left knee in. And let that left lower back release to the earth as we pause here. And right away, you might notice a difference one side or the other. How does the mind balance out that difference? Does it judge one side for not being like the other? Or can it just accept, feel its way into one side or the other, realizing the body is fairly asymmetrical based on what we do day to day? So as you start to move now, rock that left thigh side to side. And then we'll add on with a big circle. So as you come back to center, left hand on the kneecap, release your right arm out from your side. And then let that leg just follow the lead of the hand and arm as you take that circle, whatever ability you have this morning to open up those hips, just tune into that. And acknowledge some of that tightness and tension. It's there on purpose. We need stability for our joints to be healthy and to hold us upright. So just embrace that, but being able to move enough so that we can be mobile and active. Take it around the other direction. But for whatever reason, especially in the yoga world, we tend to think it's just about flexibility, and that is incorrect. You can tell by telling people, oh, I can't do yoga, I'm not flexible. It's the first thing, like 99.9% of the time people are going to say in resistance to giving it a try. And in fact, we want these joints stable as well. Take it around the other direction if you haven't already. Nice and slowly, feeling into the inner and outer thighs, the glutes, all those strong muscles, helping to keep the pelvis and the spine attached. So let's bring that left knee back to center and then pause. Breathe in, breathe out. And then release your left leg down, both arms stretch overhead. Inhale deeply. Exhale, let's bring those arms by the sides. Bend your knees, plant the feet to the earth, and we're going to set up for a windshield wiper twist, working with the internal external rotation through those hip joints before we come on up to sit. So step the feet as wide as you can. Bring those arms straight out from your shoulders, palms face up. Take a full breath in. As you exhale, let your knees go to the left, feeling that internal rotation through the right hip. So the right, you're not going to force the knee to the ground. It'll either go there or not. But if you feel pressure in the knee, see if you can open those feet a little wider. And then turning your head to the right, turn your head to the left, and feel your breath expanding into the right side body. Next time the head returns to center, offer another full breath in. Exhale it out. Inhale, bring those knees back up. And then exhale the other side. Knees go right, head to the left. And feeling your way into this side, noticing what's showing up from that lower back all the way up through the mid-upper back. If there's pressure in the knee, you can also lift it slightly. So tuning in and then slowly rolling head side to side. Start to release your neck. Keep those teeth unclenched. And then as the head returns to center, big breath in. Long breath out, bring knees to center. Keep them wide apart as you just ease in that first stage of happy babies. Just grabbing hold of the back of the thighs. Keep that tailbone pressing down. Knees are wide and just take that little rocking motion side to side. And then as you bring knees together, you can pause right here. Option to lift your head into those knees on the next exhale. And release, head to the earth. And from here, let's make our way up. So you can roll to one side or of course take a little spinal rock to make your way into a seated position. And we're just going to sit for a moment, getting into a little side stretch. So as you sit tall, you can sit up on a little cushion or blanket if you like. But shrug the shoulders to the ears with the inhale. Exhale them back and down. And then reach your right arm out. Press that left thigh slightly down. Just breathing into the space we're waking up through the left side body. And you can keep the hand gently pressing the thigh down, or we might fold a little deeper to the right, perhaps bring your left hand right to where you feel the tension or tightness in that left waist. And then offer another breath. On your next inhale, come on up. I'm going to take it to the other side. Slide your left hand out. Remember, we want to keep that right shoulder back, so it might limit how far we go, so we're not twisting here or rounding the spine. And just gently pressing, if that right knee is really lifted, might just gently press, not from a place of force, but a place of allowing. Giving just a little weight with that right hand into the right thigh. And if you prefer, you can move that hand to the right waist, offering another big breath here. And let it go. And then come all the way up. Let's switch the cross of the legs. So we're even. And then repeat, sliding right hand out. Just noticing here, by repeating this a second time, how much space you've already created here, how much tension you've already released. Even if the progress is subtle, it's worth paying attention to. And notice how the body's responding to what we're offering without force. Again, just simply by repeating what we've already done, giving that body another moment to release, and then come on up. Let's take it to the other side. Left hand reaching out, right shoulder stays back. You might also notice a difference here too, just by switching the cross of the legs. And then come all the way back through center. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, bring those palms together in front of the heart. And as we bring the hands behind, we can uncross those legs and shake them out. We're going to come into rock the baby pose and then move into whatever variation you'd like to work with this morning of a modified half shoelace, full half shoelace, or perhaps the full expression of shoelace. So let's start with the left knee in, left foot to the right hand. And remember, we're not trying to force the shin in. That might not feel good for the knee. So just go where the body is able to go and you're able to breathe into that sensation. So we'll just start by making a big circle here over that left gluteal area. You can take it around both directions. You can certainly stay right here. Maybe this is enough sensation. If we're adding on, bring that left arm out at an angle, a good 2 feet or so behind you. So you can get into the side seat or those outer glutes into the piriformis. You can come onto the forearm. And then depending on what you find there, you might just pause and breathe, or you can stay with that gentle rocking motion. And so I like to find that hot spot of the left side, and then what you might want to do is just point and flex the right foot, keeping that left leg stable as you create that little rocking massage into wherever you're feeling on this left side. And let's offer another big breath in. Exhale with a sigh. And then as we come all the way up, your options for shoelace are left foot to the inner right leg. And we can bend as we fold. We can take half shoelace with the left leg crossed over. If you're taking that option, give some support into that right knee. Maybe just stack the hands or use a little towel or blanket. Or of course, either one of those are going to work with the hamstrings. If you like to just work on that outer hip IT band, then we can certainly stack both knees. And with this one, you can reach a block under the seat or a blanket if you need to elevate. So pick one of those and we'll repeat that on the second side. And wherever you are, take a full breath in. Exhale, relax and soften face and shoulders. And then depending on where you are, it might be helpful to gently lower on your exhale and slowly come back up on the inhale. And that being said, you can also just pause. When you're ready to settle in, grabbing whatever props will be helpful or supportive here. I'm going to grab my timer so that we can be as even as possible, one side to the other. And just allowing your mind to come back to your intention, the focus that you've chosen for this practice. So that we can keep the mind in a place of presence, focus, rather than trying to narrate or personalize or make a story around whatever sensations might be showing up. So see if you can just observe the body and the sensations, but let the mind stay focused on your intention. And then just noticing how the breath, with each exhalation, perhaps the body might let you in just a little bit more. And riding that wave of exhalation to try to relax and release into the posture rather than force or resist. So just in a similar way, when we will sit to meditate at the end, we'll just get to observe the thoughts coming and going. And so apply that same awareness, that same witness ability to just observe the sensations as they arise and pass. Even if they intensify, can we keep that breath steady, consistent? Can we refocus the mind the moment we lose the focus? Just come back to it without making a big deal. About 40 seconds remain on this first side, using those breaths wisely. And then maybe you want to release the weight of your head, giving that neck a little stretch if you haven't already. In preparation to release in just a moment, let's offer another deep breath in. Exhale with a soft sigh. And just taking a moment to notice the difference of how it feels now as we prepare to exit the pose compared to when we first came into it. And then gently start to come on up, walking those hands back. Sit up tall wherever you are. Let those shoulders release. And before we switch out those legs, turn your head to the right. Turn your head to the left. And then back to center. Let's uncross and shake it out. And we'll repeat that on the second side. So starting again in our rock the baby pose, bring that right foot to the left hand, right hand to the knee. And then we just start to circle around, getting a sense of what's showing up. Remember, this is also one of those important, what we call marma points or energetic points for the nervous system. So sometimes it's something physically we've done that might cause this area to be sensitized, or maybe it's just overwhelmed, the level of the nervous system. You need to get grounded and calm. There's a high Vata dosha going on this time of year, autumn, we're in Vata season. That could also bring that nervous system into a heightened state. So if we're adding on, you can bring that right hand back. Maybe come onto that forearm. So see where it's working for you. There's no place we're trying to get to. Just deepen that awareness of where you need to be. Again, finding that rocking motion or just pausing in stillness. And offering another big breath in. Exhale it out. And then as we come up, do your best to match what you did on that first side. So how do we know? Well, let's see what's available or what you need. So some days we might need to stay with a half shoelace or a variation to get in those hamstrings. Other days we might want to work with full shoelace. So again, we can bring right foot to the inner left thigh. We can cross over, or we can come into our full shoelace. So wherever you are, let's sit up tall, inhale deeply, shrugging those shoulders, exhale, let them go, find a focal point or close the eyes. And again, you can certainly lower and come back up, just giving the body a chance to know you're not going to force it. You're just allowing it to tell you where to go, when to pause. And then once you've found that sweet spot, tuning into sensation, come back to your breath, refocus your mind. Again, just observe, when does the mind get distracted or caught up in a thought? The moment you notice that, bring it back to neutral. Observing, focusing, and breathing as you just allow the body to take whatever it needs from the shape that we've given it. And 40 seconds remain. Refocusing the mind, come back to your breath. If you'd like to release your head for a few moments here, you're welcome to. Let's offer another big breath in. Exhale, let it go with a soft sigh. And again, noticing before we come out of the pose, the progress the body has made by letting you in, perhaps noticing how those sensations have shifted, and then gently come all the way back up. Pausing at the top, let those shoulders release back and down. And again, just gently release neck, turning to the left and turning to the right. And back to center. And then releasing as we uncross those legs, shake them out. And let's come back to a windshield wiper release here in a seated position. So letting those hands support behind you. Sit up tall so you're lifting rather than rounding through the spine. Feet are as wide as they can go, perhaps off the edges of the mat. On your exhale, let your knees go to the right. And we're trying to line up the knee with the left hip, regardless of whether or not it touches the ground. And then look over your left shoulder for a moment. Take a full breath in. Exhale it out. Inhale, bring it through center. Exhale the other direction. Knees left, head to the right. And then come back through center. Let's stretch those legs straight out in front, big toe bones touching. Bend the knees for Paschimottanasana. Reach and lengthen through the arms. And as we start to fold forward, bring those arms down as you lead with your hips, moving belly toward thighs. So we might stay with those knees deeply bent. Maybe we straighten those legs a little bit more as long as that belly's on the thighs. And then your choice here to keep the head slightly lifted or bow the head towards your heart, rolling those shoulders back and down. And we'll pause here for 3 minutes. Again, refocusing the mind, come back to your breath. And as you pause and just witness, becoming aware of the sensation without needing to try to figure that sensation out with judgment, criticism, analysis, just feel into what's there to be felt and letting everything else go. One minute remains. Notice where the mind is gone. Reconnect for these last few moments if you lost that connection. And in preparation to release, let's take a full breath in. Exhale with a soft sigh. If you haven't released the head, maybe you'd like to, turning it side to side, rolling those shoulders back and down. And then as we begin to come on up, walk those hands back and shake out the legs. And so for this next one, we have a couple options. We are going to turn towards the long end of the mat. And you're welcome to work with cobbler pose, soles of the feet together. If you feel ambitious and want to work with frog pose this morning, I'll walk you through that. We can also work with our wide-legged fold, opening those legs out into a V shape. And if you want to work with frog, make sure those knees are happy with it, and you're ideally not on a really hard floor. And wherever you are, you can always add a little extra padding by folding the corners of the mat in, or the edges of the mat, the ends of the mat. And then we're going to come into child's pose. We haven't done this one in a while. Have a prop, block, cushion, something that you can support yourself with. So as we start out, maybe we just have the knees wide, feet together. in child's pose. That might be enough of a stretch to the hips and the inner thighs. If we're adding on, we open the feet as wide as the knees. Maybe those knees go out a little further. And then we want to make sure that the hips and knees are in line. So if we're too far forward or too far back, we might not feel that stretch. So all of these are going to get into the inner thigh muscle. It's just a matter of what you're wanting or needing this morning. One is not better than the other. And again, just tuning in to see what's available or what is needed. And then wherever you are, we're going to be here for 4 minutes. So committing mentally as well as physically. If you're in your wide-legged V shape, you might just keep those hands behind you. And if you are starting to tilt forward, leading with the hips so that you're essentially leading with a long spine. And if you're in frog pose, as I am here, you might just offer a little support under your belly or chest or your arms. We don't have to come all the way down to the floor. Again, see where you can find that edge where there's something happening. You're feeling the sensation, the productive sensation, but you're able to relax and breathe, soften and release into it. Refocus your mind, come home to the breath now that you're in the shape. And just holding this awareness as you witness the body and the sensations. While we pause here for a few moments. About 1 minute remains, reconnecting mind and breath. If you've wandered elsewhere, come back and tune in to the sensations of the body and how that body has shifted those sensations since we began this pose. Few more breaths here, preparation to come up and out of the pose. So wherever you are, come back to that breath. And then we're just slowly going to start to make our way up. So from wherever you are, if you're in frog pose, we're going to take this slowly, bring those hands, press them down, draw the feet in if they've come apart or separated from each other, and then slowly bring those knees in a little closer. And taking our time, pause in child's pose. Knees can come all the way together or stay slightly apart. Maybe shift side to side. So we just take that moment to transition slowly, gently, because we've held the pose a little longer. So letting that connective tissue have a moment to respond. And then as you're ready, coming all the way up, and then shift those legs out in front of you and shake them And let's come down onto the belly now, helping to balance out all the forward bending with a little yin back bend before we work with our breath work and meditation this morning. So coming onto your belly, let's just take a moment here to lie down with the heart onto the earth. You can make a pillow with your hands and turn your face to one side, or simply keep that neck neutral, letting your chin or forehead rest on the hand. And then take a moment here just to feel the breath moving through the body, causing the belly to expand and retract. And then from here, if you have turned the head, turn it the other direction, so you're evenly stretched one side of the neck to the other. And then pressing through the feet as you bring the head to neutral if you've turned it. Let's come into Sphinx pose, or seal pose in the Yin tradition. And you have a couple options here. You can bring those elbows slightly in front of the shoulders. This is recommended if you feel any pinching in that lower back. We can also bring those elbows to line up under the shoulders. And then pressing down through your hips and pubic bones. So we're not just collapsing into that lumbar curve, but see if you can feel a little bit of engagement through the glutes, pressing into the feet. And then as you reach the elbows into the earth, reaching the heart and gaze straight ahead. You can also press the palms together and really reach into the earth with the pinky side of the palm so that the grounding points are the hands and the hips rather than the lower back. And we'll just be here a few deep breaths. So coming back to your focus of mind, your presence, your awareness of mind and breath, and how the sensations in the body might shift the longer we hold. So for another full round of breath here before we release. And then exhale, just slowly melting back to the earth. Again, you can support your head with the hands if you'd like. And just gently rock those hips side to side before we come out of this. And then as we press up, reach those hands into the earth. And then reach back and through either child's pose, or maybe it'll feel good to stretch it all out in downward dog for a moment. So if you're taking downward dog, feel free to go wider with those hands and feet, perhaps walking out those heels and just releasing into the full body stretch here as you let the head, neck, face, and jaw surrender towards the earth, letting gravity work in the opposite direction. And then if you've taken downward dog, once you feel complete, just make our way back to child's pose. Knees can be wide or together. And coming back to your breath for a moment, inhaling deeply. Exhale, let it go. And then as you walk those hands back, let's sit up, shifting those hips to one side, legs come out in front. So we're going to sit for meditation and breath work. And so you're welcome to, of course, sit on the edge of a chair and or grab your cushion or block, something to sit on, so that we can maintain what we've opened and awakened through the hips and lower back without undoing that with a misaligned seated position. You could sit cross-legged or with those legs straight ahead in more of a hero pose. So if you'd like to do this option, then perhaps you put a block under there. And one isn't better than the other. We're just working again with what's working for us in this moment. So we can get the most out of the seated meditation with the least amount of distraction. And then once you are comfortably seated, let those shoulders relax. Again, close your eyes and come back to your breath. Let's have that smile on the face. I've shared in recent weeks that whether we feel like smiling or not, just by rearranging the muscles of our face has a powerful influence on the brain, the nervous system. Especially if we squint up the eyes a little bit, getting those eyes involved changes how the brain receives that expression on our face. And we can just gently, slowly let that smile fade or keep it there. But let the jaw stay relaxed. So there's a space between the upper palate and the lower palate. The teeth aren't clenching. And then bring your mind to that single point of focus, the word or statement, the mantra that you like to work with. And then repeat it consistently. And just imagine it's like a little drop of water. Each time you repeat it, like a leaky faucet, just drip, drip. Imagine it dripping onto the center of your forehead, what we know to be our third eye or inner eye of wisdom, imagination, intuition. And the third eye literally represents our ability to see beyond the duality, see beyond the external, what's right in front of us, and begin to tune in to what is internal. It has yet to be seen by the outside eyes. So that's the power of our intention. And so repeating it, whatever you've chosen to repeat, a few moments, you might even just imagine again a little raindrop or a drop of water dripping onto the third eye every time you repeat that word or intention. Take a moment as you keep your awareness on that center of the forehead, that third eye point. I'm just going to practice a few rounds of alternate nostril breath, but visualizing it rather than using our hand. So with your next inhalation, imagine as a pure white light moving in through the left nostril, the center of the forehead. And then as you exhale, imagine that breath, that white light moving from the center of the forehead out and down through your right nostril, like it's creating the tip or the apex of a triangle. Inhale through the right side in that same way. Exhale through the left. Keep moving at your own pace, inhaling left. Exhale right. Continue this for a few rounds, visualizing that breath as a beam of white light, moving in one nostril to the center of the forehead, and out and down the opposite nostril. Letting go of the alternate nostril breath. Next time you exhale, out and down through that right nostril. Turn your awareness to the center of your forehead. Continue to repeat your statement or intention for a few more moments while I'm silent. Your eyes closed. Just come back to your breath. Back to that focus of mind, presence of body. And if you'd like to continue and stay here for the last few moments of our time together, you're welcome to. Otherwise, at this time, if you'd like to give your body a position of complete surrender, we can make our way slowly onto the back and return to either constructive rest pose or shavasana. The last 5 minutes of our time together this morning. So if you are making that transition onto the back, then you can do it mindfully by moving towards the top of your mat. Maybe rinse out that spine with a few seated cat-cows before surrendering fully to the earth. Perhaps bringing those knees in, making any final movements that would help you feel complete with the physical practice. Before returning to that mindfulness practice, whether that's in seated position or shavasana, once you've come back to stillness, just reconnect your mind to that intention or focal point. Our last few moments together this morning. If you've made your way onto your back, you're welcome to close the practice there if you like. Or at this time, if you wish to join us in a seated position for our closing, just begin to deepen your breath, wiggle the fingers and toes. And if you're still seated, you can start to roll those shoulders back and down, maybe let those legs uncross, shaking them out. And then if you're on your back, hugging those knees into the chest as you gently roll to one side. And press your way gently into a seated position. And then once you're seated, or if you're already there, eyes closed for just a moment longer, holding that awareness inward, and just acknowledge how you feel as we end our practice today. Perhaps comparing to how you felt at the beginning, just noticing any subtle or obvious shift mentally, physically, emotionally, or energetically. And then bring those palms to touch in front of the heart as a symbol or gesture of the connection, the integration you've taken the time to make this morning within yourself. And that will hopefully allow you to feel more connected and integrated with the world and others around you as you move into the day. When we bow our heads to our hearts in honor of the focus of mind, the awareness we've brought onto our mats, the connection we've made with our bodies and breath. And in this place, we bow to that divine connection we've also shared with each other in the name of yoga. And in this place, we bow together as one. Namaste.